Good morning. According to the Mental Institute of Health, which is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Health, in 2015, an estimated 3 million adolescents aged 12 to 17 had at least one major episode of depression within a school year. That is 12.5% of adolescents. Today I'm going to be talking about a policy that does not only diminish depression, but also increases education as well as healthy habits. During my high school career, I participated in multiple organizations. I was a student council vice president and played sports year-round. I firmly believe that these extracurricular activities not only supported me throughout my Marine Corps career, but today in college as well. So much so that I currently am involved in the peer advisors for veterans education. So the first thing that I'm going to discuss today is the need for the policy. The second thing I will talk about is the benefits of extracurricular activities. And then thirdly, I'll bring it into perspective and not only how it can help us, but future generations as well. So as I said, the first thing that I'm going to discuss is the need for policy. In high school today, in Kansas, students' grades are considered subpar when compared to other states. And it is suggested that 85% of high school students graduate high school. Of that 85%, 44% continue on their goal to secondary education. And of that 44%, 56 graduate within 6 years. So if you start with 100 students, that means 85 will graduate high school, 35 will continue their education, and 20 will graduate within 6 years. And this is a problem. An article published in 2017 by KWCH 12 suggested that the Kansas Department of Education estimates in 2030, 71% of jobs will require secondary education. An article written by the Risk Behavior Surveillance System, which studies health behaviors that lead to serious injury as well as death, suggests that 13.9% of children were considered obese in 2015. Now it is considered that 30.9% are considered obese, and Kansas ranks 25th among the United States. A growing problem within high school is that students are starting to feel symptoms of depression as well as anxiety. And it is estimated that 1 in 5 feel these symptoms. Depression in teens, an article written by Mental Health America, suggests that the 3 leading causes are family expectations, social concerns, and academic stress. So now that I've talked about the need for the policy, I'm going to cover the benefits of extracurricular activities. An article written by the National Center of Education, which is a primary federal entity for collecting data on high school students, and is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Education, suggests that students who participate in extracurricular activities have a higher class attendance rating, have higher SAT and ACT scores, and on average have a higher GPA than those who do not. Studies show that by participating in the extracurricular activities, students will have healthier eating habits as well as physical habits. And this is because they will be outside participating in sports or preparing for their organization that will ultimately keep them off of the couch of playing video games or watching TV. The National Center of Education statistics suggests that students who participate in the extracurricular activities are more motivated, have higher self-esteem, are more confident, which ultimately leads to having a higher sense of belonging within their peers in high school. And when I'm talking about extracurricular activities, I'm talking about sports, band, student council, theater, or community service. Anything that can be tied to the high school and benefits the community as well as other high school students. So now that I've talked about the need for the policy as well as the benefits of extracurricular activities, I'm going to bring it into perspective and show how it can not only impact our lives but future generations as well. So as I said earlier, the elevated motivation, higher ACT, SAT, and GPA will ultimately allow students to receive scholarships and get accepted by their #1 college. This will ultimately increase graduation rates. And as I said earlier, in 2030, 71% of jobs will require secondary education. So if the policy was implemented today, it would drastically help the future generation receive the job. Also, studies show that extracurricular activities diminish obesity. It is estimated that 21% who do participate in extracurricular activities are considered to be obese, that is minimal when you compare it to the 33% that do not. In 2016, Dr. Jai Zhang, professor of sociology at the University of New York Buffalo State, suggested that kids who participate in extracurricular activities develop critical skills to battle interpersonal problems as well as emotional control. This, paired with the increased confidence and sense of belonging, will ultimately decrease depression and feelings of anxiety within high school students, and ultimately pushing them to attain their goals. So in conclusion, I've talked about the need for the policy, the benefits of extracurricular activities, and how they can impact our lives and the future generations. But do not think of extracurricular activities as only supporting high school students. It is actually proven that they support college students as well, and that 75% of companies who hire college graduates prefer that they have extracurricular activities on their resume because it shows experience within the field that they intend to enter. My wife is a perfect example of this. She was a student body president and involved in multiple organizations at Emporia State University, and after her first job interview and attaining the job, her boss later told her that it was her extracurricular activities that set her aside from the other candidates. So if you agree with me that high school students should participate in at least one extracurricular activity per year in order to graduate, please find me later and sign my petition in order to increase awareness as well as ultimately get the policy implemented within Kansas. Thank you.